Appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. So how did you get into boxing?
I started boxing when I was about 13 years old. I've always kind of had a competitive attitude in anything I've done. I started playing baseball at a young age, and then from there it was hockey. And I just kind of fell into boxing. I always had an interest with it as a kid. And there was a local police athletic league, Pines Police Athletic League, probably about 20 minutes down the street from my house. I told my dad I wanted to box. And then the next day I came home and he took me over there, and it was just a community police athletic league gym, and just went from there, man. Started boxing when I was about 13 years old, and just on and off with it for a long time, trading it off with other sports like, again, baseball, hockey. I wrestled in high school. And then as I got a little bit older, I got a little bit more serious with it. As far as coaching goes, I kind of took a hold of me, and I wound up just having to get a job, et cetera, and I was just working out of the gym with a guy that I used to train with, a former fighter. He opened up his own gym. Long story short, he opened up his own gym, asked me if I'd come over there and help him get ready for his fights. And that's originally, I was just a sparring partner, helping him get ready for some of his fights, helping him spar, and then I'd hold mitts for him occasionally. He would teach me how to hold mitts. And then from there, I started helping out with some of the guys at his gym, and then it just kind of grew into what it is now, man. In a nutshell.
Okay. How far did you take wrestling? How good were you at wrestling?
I was decent in wrestling. It was never, for me, it was just one of those things. My dad kind of wanted me to do something in high school, playing for the school itself or competing. So coming from a boxing background, a little bit of a physical background, I was like, you know what? I didn't know anything about football. Still don't know anything about football. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to wrestle. I think it seemed a little bit easier of a transition for me. So I just wrestled 2 years, my 9th and 10th grade. And then that was it, man. To be honest with you, my academics didn't hold up, man. You have to have a pretty good GPA to continue to do things like that.
Definitely. And as far as I know, from being able to do boxing for a little bit, most guys that have a decent or great background in wrestling, they can hit pretty fucking hard. So that's what I was asking.
I feel like I had some pretty good pop, my punches and stuff like that. Yeah. So, that makes sense, because I think wrestlers are a little bit more grounded with their footwork. They're more sat down than anything else. So I could kind of see that actually makes sense.
Yeah, and then they're used to the crunching of the hands and grabbing and all that toil work that you guys do in wrestling.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so definitely, because I knew a couple guys that would come to the gym, and they would do the boxing workouts, and they got familiar with sparring, and they would land punches, and you would look at it and go, Jesus Christ, man! Like, and then you would ask him like, "Yo, take something off of it." And he would go, "I didn't do nothing."
Yeah.
And you go, "Wait a minute." You might want to box from now on instead of
That makes sense, actually, now that you say it like that. I've never really thought about that, because I've trained a lot of MMA fighters that have a pretty big grappling base. And they all have pretty good pop on their punches, probably because, like I said, they're sitting down on their punches, and then what you just said made a ton of sense with their their hand grappling and things like that. So yeah.